Here's the fastest way to clear all 3 bosses. At the start of the fight, the boss immediately summons 4 floating drones and gains a shield. Breaking all 4 drones will only remove about half of the shield, so you'll still need to deal the remaining shield directly to the boss. If you have Sandrone, simply adjust your position so that her charged attack hits both the boss and the 4 floating drones at the same time, allowing you to damage the boss while clearing the drones simultaneously. If you don't have Sandrone, there are still a couple of reliable options. The first is to run a Lunar charged team with a Cryo teammate. Instead of chasing the drones, focus your damage on the boss. Superconduct and Lunar charged reactions can break the shield efficiently, and once it's gone, there are no more special mechanics, just finish the fight as usual. Another option is a Skirk team with Charlotte. As the battle begins, move underneath one side of the drones and hold Charlotte's elemental skill to capture all 4 drones at once. While Charlotte is marking them, keep attacking the boss with Skirk. Repeat the skill one more time after the cooldown, and you can usually destroy all 4 drones into casts. If your damage is high enough, bringing Fiscal for Superconduct is also a solid alternative. One thing to keep in mind, Nahida can clear the drones very quickly with her skill, but the boss will gain an additional shield afterward, so you'll still need to break the boss's own shield before dealing damage normally. At the start of the fight, the boss gains a shield worth 45% of its max HP and receives 150% all raise, making it extremely resistant to damage. The fastest way to break the shield is with Lunar DMG, which is about 3 times more effective than regular elemental DMG and also restores energy while attacking. If you're running a Lunar team, simply focus the boss from start to finish. If you're using a regular elemental team, the better strategy is to deal with the 4 enemies the boss summons. Each one is worth about 18% of the boss's max HP, and defeating one removes 25% of the boss's shield, allowing you to break it much more quickly. Bringing a grouper like Kadahara Kazuha makes this much easier. If you're using Kazuha, Sacrificial Sword is highly recommended so you can pull the enemies together and keep them close to the boss for efficient AoE damage. Once the shield is broken, the boss immediately loses 20% of its HP, becomes incapacitated for 15 seconds, and its all raise drops to -60%. This is your main damage window, so save your strongest abilities for this phase. At the start of the fight, the boss creates a shield worth 200% of its max HP and gains 110% all raise. Even with Raise Shred, trying to brute force the shield is extremely inefficient. Instead of focusing on the shield itself, your goal is to fill the energy gauge beneath the boss's HP bar. Whenever a character enters the Nightsoul's Blessing state, the gauge charges up, and bringing more Natlan characters will fill it much faster. Nightsoul-aligned DMG is by far the most effective way to charge the gauge, although regular elemental DMG also contributes at a slower rate. Characters like Orin work especially well because they trigger frequent instances of Nightsoul-aligned damage. Once the gauge is full, the boss immediately loses its shield and all of its bonus raise. It also takes additional damage equal to 50% of the damage it received while the shield was active, up to a maximum of 50% of its max HP. Later in the fight, the boss summons 2 pillars. Climb onto them and destroy the devices at the top to remove 15% of the boss's HP, stun it for 15 seconds, and reduce its all raise to -30%. Many characters can reach the top of the pillars, and in some cases you can even climb them normally. Overall, this fight is much easier with Natlan teams. Even if you're not running a full Natlan lineup, it's worth bringing 1 or 2 Natlan characters to speed up the gauge. Also, watch out for the boss's converging laser attack, It deals massive damage and can easily one-shot your characters, so don't get too greedy with your DPS. Now, let's take a look at the character builds. Mavuka is C2R1, while everyone else is CORO. If you want to use Ryothesli, Yae Maiko, Kiki, Sino, Baidu, Diona, or Mizuki, make sure to clear Witch's Revelation first to unlock their buffs. In my testing, the CORO Lunar Crystallized team cleared the second boss much faster than the COR1 Nefer Lunar Bloom team. And that's it for this guide. If you found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Genshin Impact guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.